So you're adjusting your D pairs a couple times last week. Do you have any concrete way of going forward that you know of with Josh out, or are you still kind of playing around with some ideas on, because you've had that set for so long this season, to break it up now obviously is tough to do.
Yeah, I mean, now you're trying to find what chemistry and what might work best. I think the biggest thing for us right now is really around Tishke, because him playing with Josh for that length of time and how well that they did. We're trying to find that right chemistry, that balance, trying to find someone that can play with Tish and the amount of ice time that he sees. So, we may mix it up. We may not be able to find a true set pairs in terms of the three of them, but we'll see. We'll tinker with it this week still, at least in the first couple days.
We see you maybe moving Cullen back there at all at any point in time?
Yeah, I think that he's going to start there this week, and in case something happens, and certainly gives us an opportunity to have him play that position. He's done it in the past. He's pretty stable back there, so we'll at least look at him here the first couple days.
JD's been up and down. What are the differences for him between the ups and the downs, and how do you get more of the ups out of him, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, for him, it starts in practice, just so it becomes consistent day in and day out for practice. And, game-wise, he gets in there for the most part and becomes a pretty competitive kid. And him playing with Inamoto, they've been a pretty good pair for as limited a time as they've played together. But they've been pretty solid physical force in terms of their presence on the ice and then the way they play. But it really is going to start for JD in practice. He's going to be bring it every day in practice and be consistent in practice so he earns the trust of his teammates.
Mark, after what happened against Minnesota, how do you think the guys responded last week? There weren't any games, obviously, to be played, but it's still, it's almost playoff time here.
Yeah, it was an interesting week. Coming in on Monday, we took a different approach for the week, trying to get healthy, take a few days off, and hopefully recharge the mental side of things as well. And Tuesday was an interesting day. We thought it was a pretty good work day. We had a competition, and the guys were pretty good, got through it. I think they were in a different state of mind as well the first couple of days. But then Wednesday we had great meetings, talked with majority of the team, did a little bit of video with certain individuals, and then Thursday, Friday were outstanding, both days of practice, and I thought the mindset was back. And it's hard to go into a week, especially after what happened against Minnesota, and there's not two games to look forward to or a Friday night to look forward to. So I think that was difficult for the guys, especially early in the week.
I guess, like it or not, psychology is part of the job when you're dealing with players that age. Where do you pull ideas from? Where do you get ways of finding the right buttons to push, or what's going to motivate this guy or this guy? How do you go about that process?
Well, I mean, for me personally, it's outside of Tony and Donnie. I talk to them quite a bit about different ideas. It's pretty simple for me because I talk to my dad probably every day about hockey and about not just the game itself, not just about the X and O's, but really about the approach of the day. And he's a great sounding board for me. The other person I talk to quite a bit is Dean Blaze. So those two guys I pick and pull and prod as much as I can. There's a couple NHL guys that I talk to quite a bit just to ask their opinion, especially in the NHL, because the NHL, it's a roller coaster at times. You're going to have really highs and then go on a little bit of a skid just because of the amount of games that they play. So you can pull some pretty good ideas from the likes of a Dave Haxtell, when they went through that little bit of a stretch where everyone was saying the sky's falling, and really they weren't playing that poorly. And now you look at them now, and they're doing well. So it's nice to have a few of those guys out there that you can bounce some different ideas off of.
Is there any really good piece of advice you've gotten from any of them that you feel is helpful right now for this team, or anything that anyone's told you that you would like to use, or anything like that?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we've tried to talk about is just somewhat in terms of, laying it out there simple, is just stay calm and stay consistent. And, this year has been a little bit of a roller coaster. So if we can stay consistent, if we can stay calm, almost matter of fact, this is how we're doing it. This is our approach. This is our how we're going to move forwards. then you don't have those peaks and valleys. And from us as a staff, we've tried to do that and just really tried to stay calm and just keep on moving forwards.
How do you approach this weekend then, Mark, knowing, home ice is virtually, well, it's not impossible, but it seems unlikely. So how do you approach this weekend with the playoffs coming up, but also 2 games against a really good team?
Yeah, I don't think it. I think it's great. I think our guys are excited to get back on the road and get playing, get back after it after a couple of games that didn't turn out the way that they would like. You can see it in their eyes right now. They want to get out there. They want the puck to drop, and let's go after it. And you get away. You don't have any distractions as you're jumping on the road to go play, and it's a great opponent. So you don't really have to say too much to get our guys ready. They're going to know. They know what they're walking into, and if you're not ready, it's going to be a tough weekend. But I think our guys will be ready, and they're excited about it.
It seems like a year ago when you played Ohio State the first time this season, but do you take anything out of that? Do anything stand out from that weekend of things that you look at coming into this series? I mean, it is 5 months almost, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing you take away is that you see their talent level from that. Even that weekend, you saw that their speed, their talent, their transition game is probably not going to change as much. But the way they're playing as a team, they've certainly gotten better, and they are a team of transition and really high-end talent, some very good speed. So, and they're playing well right now. So, it's going to be a fun test for us to be able to get out and get after it when the puck drops on Friday.
Their penalty kill is one of the best in the country. What do they do well? Are they aggressive? Do they sit back? How would you describe their penalty kill? Because your power play would need to come through, I would think, a couple of times.
Yeah, they're aggressive. Definitely, they do a good job in front of their goaltender in terms of sticks and blocking shots. But they are aggressive when they can, and their goaltender's been outstanding. So we're gonna have to keep it simple. It's the old power play, easy X and O's. I mean, keep it simple and get pucks to the net. But you really are going to have to try to get bodies at the net and keep it and somewhat simplify it and get pucks towards the net. But you do have to work hard for your teammates. So if wherever you are, you can't just have 1 or 2 guys going. You got to have all 5 guys going and supporting the puck, especially against a penalty kill like that they have.
We're coming up to all league pick time. Who would you advocate for from your team as being, first team, second team, rookies? Who stood out to you as being a guy that's, been to that level the whole season?
You're putting me on the spot. We have a lot of guys that you could throw into that mix, but from a consistency standpoint, Wagner and Tischke, just from pure consistency. I think what they've brought day in and day out from their practice habits, their compete factor, and then the results that you see in the game, it's been proven for them and how they approach every single day in practice. So it's nice to see those guys get results because of what they've done and what they've put into it. So it's hard not to bring up those two.
Well, as far as your goaltending is concerned, will that be determined as the week moves along here, Mark?
Yeah.